Well, good morning. Great morning. Wonderful morning. Spectacular morning. Outstanding morning. Magnificent morning. Incredible morning. Yes. Whatever adjective you want, you can choose for anything that you're going through. Remember, everything is fundamentally meaningless. Everything just is. Nothing is good or bad. It's our thinking that makes it so. Your reality, my reality, our reality is not based from what's happening. It's not based from the facts. It's not based from what somebody says, what somebody does, what you've done. It's not based from any of that. It's based from the meanings that you're giving to whatever that is. And the sooner you grab onto that and start to think that way, to start to think from the perspective that you get to give meaning to whatever you want, however you want it to be, oh my God, everything changes. And that is incredible. See, that's where all the power lies. It's in you. It's always been in you. Isn't that interesting? It's always been in you. Say that. It's always been in me. It will always be in me. And again, what is that? That's power. All power is from within, which then leads to the without. As within, so without. Change the within, you change the without. And that's what we dive into here in Master Your Mind, to master our thinking. Hasn't it been amazing for you as you've been diving into this and using it? We just went through a beautiful session this morning in thinking into results. It's something that Dolly and I beautifully facilitate, of which we have incredible people in there as well. And what's so beautiful is something that Bob Proctor shared. And he talked about how, yes, you've got to study, but then there's another step, and it ties into what we share with you at the end of every one of these calls, and that is application. See, it's through the use of this that the changes you seek will be made manifest in the outer world. And that's what we're hoping that you grab onto. Because what we want for us, we want for you. Now, where have we been diving into? Well, this incredible, beautiful gem, the Master Key System by Charles Haanel. And boy, has it been amazing and wonderful. So make sure you have a copy of this. If you don't have this copy, then just click on the link that we provide to you where you can get your copy on Amazon. Now, also, you should have, here we go, ta-da, a gold card. Do not underestimate the power of this wonderful, beautiful tool. If you have one, you've written it out, and if you've made it important, because that's the key component, what'll start happening is it'll start taking shape in your outer world. So make sure you have one. Make sure that you make it important. This should be more important than your phone. All right, so are you ready? Ready to dive in? Let's go. Let's get this party started, right? Here we go. Okay. Now, we're on page 189. And we went over this yesterday, but we're going to go over it again. And that's the answer to this question. What is the connecting link between the finite and the infinite? That doesn't sound right. Infinite. Okay. What is the connecting link between God, the universe, and the finite, which is the physical? And the answer is thought. Thought is the connecting link. Put a big box around that. He's referencing the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is the kingdom of thought. See, this is where I get to give you the beautiful reminder of the three planes of understanding that we live on simultaneously, from the spiritual, then there's the intellectual, then there's the physical. Spiritual is that of thought. Intellectual are the ideas, of which are delivered by how you use your higher mental faculties, which are your imagination, perception, reason, will, memory, intuition. And then you have the result, which is the physical. Now, think about that. What connects the universal to the individual is that of what's happening in the mind. So, thought is the connecting link. If you want to connect to all that's available to you, then guess what you've got to do? You've got to think, which means you've got to respond, not react. Remember, reacting is not thinking, that's just mental activity. You've got to think. Now, why is that so? Well, because the universal can manifest only through the individual. The universal can only manifest through you individually. And remember what I shared with you, which was really freaking great. When you look at everything around you, you're going to see that there's a lot of individuality in the room you're in right now. I'm doing this right now as I'm speaking to you, and I'm like, oh, wow, there's so many people in here. They're everywhere. For instance, I'm just looking at my camera, the stand, all the little gadgets that are attached to the camera, the dial for the focus, the handle for the case, the knobs, the bolts, the paint, the lens, the cables, the hard drive, the SD drive. All there physically, those physically, they're physically there because there were a lot of individuals who were loyal to the idea, which then led to that. There's lots of minds just in the camera and the stand and all the peripherals that are there. Now you expand that by the paint, the carpet, drapes, your clothes, all expressed individually as outcomes. You know, this is really cool when you really dive into this. I remember the first time I heard this question. How many people does it take, for instance, to deliver something like this? Okay, so here's a little leather strip of twine here, or whatever you want to call it. And many people who think from the surface will think, oh, it's just one person. It's not true. There are thousands of people involved with the delivery of just this little thing right here. Because you got to deal with the making of it, you got to deal with the material, you got to deal with the color. There's machines that do that, to make this. And when you think of the machines that are needed to make this, oh, but there's lots of little pieces that are involved with regards to that machine functioning to be able to manufacture something like this. I mean, there's evidence everywhere that thought externalizes from the individual. Now, why is that important? Well, because if you want to manifest this, you got to understand that that's something that you've got to engage with yourself as well. You want to think this into a result, you've got to think. You've got to be emotionally involved with the idea. It must become important to you because that's exactly how everything in the room you're in right now was made. Remember, by him were all things made, and without him was not anything made that was made. By imagination were all things made, and without imagination was not anything made that was made. Through which that loyalty filtered to and through the individual that held the image, which then led to the outcome. And that's exactly what you can do for you when it comes to this. Think about that. You're powerful. Now, the universal can manifest only through the individual. And the best part about all of that is there's no limit. to how much of the universal can flow to and through you. The only limitations you have are the ones that you've agreed to, and you can shift what you've agreed to. That's pretty amazing. Upon what does causation depend? Remember, cause and effect. That is what Emerson referred to as the law of all laws. Seed, plant, blossom, fruit, sowing, reaping. Upon what does causation depend? Upon polarity. There is a law of polarity, there's opposites. A circuit must be formed. The universal is the positive side of the battery life, the individual is the negative, and thought forms the circuit. This reminds me of how electricity works. The electricity that's piped through your house is at a very high level. Now, in terms of the light that comes out of the light bulb that's in the room you're in right now, that actually limits the amount of electricity that goes out. Think of in terms of like the light bulbs, 20 watts, 30 watts, 40 watts, 100 watts. See, the output is determined by the individual light itself. It's the same way with regards to you. There's an incredible amount of infinite that's available to you. With that being said, the amount of God, the universe that flows to and through you, is going to be based from what is regulating it to show up in the outer world, which is governed by thought. You want more of the universe to flow to and through you? Open your mind and consent to bigger ideas. Be loyal to those ideas. And because the universe is no respecter of you, but it is loyal, but not loyal to you, loyal to what you've made important, it will flow to and through you and then deliver the outcomes you seek. You could do that for you when it comes to this. Remember, the way for you to do this is already here. What's in the way is not you. What's in the way is how you're thinking, what you believe to be true, the habits you have. Remember, you're not stopping you. You're not in the way. There's no such thing as self-sabotage. With that being said, you can open your mind. You can shape and mold that thinking substance to be whatever shape you want it to be. And from that, whatever shaped, that's what will start showing up in your outer world. Now, why do many fail to secure harmonious conditions? Why? Because they do not understand the law. There is no polarity. They have not formed the circuit. They don't understand how the law works. Now, there are some people who do unknowingly work with the law and they deliver those outcomes, but those people don't know how to transfer it. You see, here we're sharing with you how it works. For every effect, there's a cause. Every cause leads to an effect. If you want to change the effect, you've got to deal with the cause. You want to change your outer world, you must deal with the cause, which is what's happening in your inner world. See, that's the polarity. Your outer world is a reflection of what's happening in your inner world. Your inner world's a world of thought. Change the thoughts, you change your outer world. It's very simple. Does that mean it's easy? No, it doesn't. But it can be easy if you shift your belief. With that being said, if it's not easy, why is the struggle there? Remember, it's not you. But if the struggle's there, the reason why the struggle's there is because simply your conditioning doesn't recognize the conclusion. See, when you understand that, when you understand how your mind works, Then what happens is now it becomes easier. So what is the remedy? Conscious recognition of the law of attraction with the intention of bringing it into existence for a definite purpose. Now, let's explain